In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my Book of Shadows, and I want to be very clear that this is basically just a journal. It's a special kind of journal, but that's basically all it is. So I don't want you to feel intimidated. If you've never heard of a Book of Shadows and you don't know what it is, it's just a journal. No need to be intimidated. But I will explain why I call it a Book of Shadows and help to get you acquainted with the idea. So again, it's basically just a journal. It can also be a planner, and that's how I'm using it. But the reason why I call it a Book of Shadows is because I want to focus on the specific meaning and purpose, which is to help with consciousness expansion, okay? So again, the whole purpose of this is to increase consciousness expansion, to help make me more conscious of what is happening in my life, what I intend to make happen, and what actually happens. Because when you can track it like that, in a book that you create yourself. Again, it's just a journal. It's a special kind of journal for increasing consciousness, but that's all it is. And as we move through this, you will begin to understand much better, and you'll be able to do this yourself, okay? Whether or not you want to call it a Book of Shadows is completely up to you, or you can just call it your journal, or you can just call it your planner. The other thing I want to say is that generally it is something that you create. You can buy planners or you can buy journals that are set up to ask you specific questions. But I like doing it myself because I think that when you do it yourself, it's part of that process of increasing your consciousness because it's not passive. It's completely active. So first thing I want to do is untie this. The reason why I have this ribbon around it is because it can get pretty fat over time, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was held inside. So again, that's something that you can do as well. If you find that your journal is getting a little too thick, you may want to get a ribbon like that and tie it up. I made the cover this way. It's just a plain sketchbook, and I made the cover, and this isn't even very elaborate. I've seen some covers that are much more creative and elaborate. And again, you don't even have to do this. It's just if you want to make it a little more special. And then I have a letter in here that I wrote to someone very special that I wanted to track for the year because I felt like that was kind of a monumental letter that I wrote. And it's not just random, you know. I put a lot of thought into it, and I wanted to see across time how I feel about it. When I first made this, I was looking at glamour magic. I still feel it's important, though maybe not as my top priority now. The other thing was to write down important events. So, for example, Jupiter and Mercury going direct. I started at the beginning of the year. That's a nice time to start, but really you can start anytime. Also, putting in some collage can be really fun. So that's something that we can work on together. But this is just an introduction. Okay. So I had written down that I wanted to do a New Year's ritual. And then some of the other things, some of my goals, and then the new moon in Capricorn activating my grand Earth trine on January 11th. and doing a moon ritual. And I'm starting some film classes, so that was important to me. So I put that down as well. My classes will be on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then in March, I'll be starting one on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I want to become more fluent and an expert in Adobe Premiere Pro. These are just some of my goals, because I like making videos and I want to make them even better for all of you who watch my channels. Then finally, on January 16th, I have a Pluto return to my natal Venus. That's also going to be very important. So then what I do is I print out the charts, and if you're in my workshop, you will get these charts in your email, and I'll make them for you and send them to you in your email, and you can print them out and you can put them in your journal. I also wrote down some tasks that are important to me. Tasks are different than goals. Goals are long-term, like they're going to take months. I would say within a year, because that's kind of the time frame I'm thinking about. So they're going to take most likely months and sometimes even more than a year. Sometimes these are processes that you're working on for years. And I put down some of the tasks that needed to be taken care of in order to achieve those goals. And then for the January 11th, 2024 Capricorn new moon that activates my grand earth trine, I made a wish list and said that this new moon was going to focus on relationships, work, money, and home. So I made my wish list again. That's about focusing on what it is that you want to create in your life or that you want to see manifested. And let's see what else I have here. Okay, so I've got more charts, and I've got the chart first of the new moon on January 11th, and then of my Pluto return to my natal Venus. So here I made space for myself to write out what exactly came with the new moon and Pluto conjunct my natal Venus. So I'm going to do a check-in. I've already started to do that with the new moon on January 11th. Some important events happened, and I've been tracking those. So you can ask yourself questions. Here I said, what are my wildest hopes and dreams? And so you basically create your own prompts for your journal that align with the different astrological configurations that occur across the months and across the entire year. What did I wish for? What actions did I take? And what manifested? And what did I learn? So then I go on to February. February focus. Again, I'm writing down my intentions, and the new moon in Aquarius, I have some questions. My Venus return, I'll be tracking that, and so I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I just wanted to get the basic idea. But as we move through this, I have put these tabs in here. Eventually, I'll remove them, but this is just to make it easier as I go through the months. So I've brought to you into February, and then I'll do March, April, May, and all the way through to December. And so I'm going to be doing this with the students in my workshop. We'll be doing it on Zoom. So this is just an introduction to give you an idea of what's coming up if you want to join that workshop. There is a link in the description box below. It's $120 for the 4-week workshop. But if you sign up for the package deal, which includes a 1-hour personal astrology reading, then you get a discount. So you save some money if you do the two together. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.